You know how it is. We always come back. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and after so many months of waiting and worrying and then getting hyped all over again, next time on Death Battle, we have Omni-Man from Invincible versus Bardock from the Dragon Ball franchise. In case anyone watching happens to be out of the loop of what's been going on these last, couple months or so, yeah, Death Battle is back. In fact, we've known that this episode and many other episodes were coming for quite a while now, like throughout the rest of this year and even beyond that, thanks to the stretch goal reveals on the Death Battle Kickstarter campaign that ended recently, which, by the way, we completely crushed. Thank you all so much to those of you who donated. I'm so happy we were able to do that, and to the extent that we did, because it was insane compared to the initial goal. And yeah, we've also known about the release date for the first episode of Death Battle. We knew it was going to be October 6th on YouTube for a little bit of time, but technically we didn't know which episode was going to be the premiere, but now we know it is in fact Omni-Man versus Bardock, so I can make this video. And yeah, these revealed episodes are not going to be like one after the other, like they're going to be more spread out than that. So to not cause confusion, I will be making my prediction videos the way that I've always been doing, just making them after the previous episode comes out. That way there's no confusion, there's no cluttering or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of my plan for here on out for the predictions. But enough of all of that, jumping into the fight at hand, I'm first going to try to pinpoint the advantages that I would deem as more definitive or easy to see. So starting with Omni-Man, he definitely has the experience advantage, as he's been living for upwards of 1,000 years, maybe even longer, and has been fighting for a very good portion of that time. He also should take speed and stamina very handily, as he was able to travel from our galaxy to another one in the span of a week, and he has an impressive healing factor, all Viltrumites do. Whereas Bardock is somewhere beyond faster than light at best, and he can't recover from as insane injuries. On Bardock's side, he does have more versatility, that seems to be his main obvious advantage, and he has a lot of other smaller advantages that just come from having a wider array of abilities and techniques, such as range and maneuverability, battlefield control, etc., etc. Like, he has numerous key attacks, telekinesis, he also has telepathy and divination, or, limited future sight. He wasn't born with those abilities specifically, but he was granted them permanently later in his life, and he also has flight and super senses, but so does Omni-Man. So Bardock is not the most versatile Saiyan out there, but he still has his own tricks. Now, on top of what I would personally call more obvious, there are some other harder to judge categories in this debate that stem from a couple different reasons. The first reason is just that there are some categories that are really close, so they're really tough to call, like combat ability and overall fighting intelligence. You can make the argument for either of these characters taking the edge in this family of categories, but ultimately they're gonna be close enough to the point where they're not gonna be like huge game changers compared to everything else. That's the easy stuff though. The harder stuff that's hard to judge is stuff like AP and durability, and that's due to the partial ambiguity surrounding both of these characters. For example, Omni-Man and other Viltrumites have some feats that say one thing, but some statements that say others. Bardock has a what-if Super Saiyan form, and that kind of thing is like a predictor's worst nightmare in most cases. And this stuff is really important because it could really shift the fight depending on who's more powerful and to what extent. So it's really important to figure out, and it's really, really hard to. But that being said, I am going to try to come to some personal conclusion for the sake of this video. I mean, if I didn't, there'd be no point in making it. So Omni-Man has that feat of blowing up the meteor that was as big as Texas. We remember that from the last episode. But something that Death Battle didn't go into as much detail on was when Omni-Man and two other Viltrumites collectively destroyed a planet by flying through it. This happened in the comics, in case you're curious. Now, Omni-Man is a strong Viltrumite. It's possible that he did more than his fair share of the work while they were performing this feat, but the point still stands that they needed 3 Viltrumites in order to do this. There is this one offhanded weird statement about Viltrumites being the strongest thing in the Viltrum Empire, which could potentially include technology that's capable of destroying something that encompasses a star are, it's kind of confusing and not well defined or backed up at all. Not to mention that Death Battle's estimation for how much stronger Omni-Man was than Homelander doesn't line up with that kind of power at all. And going back to the planet busting feat for a sec, it was also stated that if the core of the planet was not shut down, the 3 Viltrumites that performed the feat, including Omni-Man, would have all died from doing that feat. So because that statement lines up way better with what's shown on panel, again, for the sake of this prediction, I have to assume that as far as strength and durability goes for Omni-Man, he is capable of destroying anywhere from a third of a planet to, let's say, up to half a planet. But I have to admit, it is not as clear as it could be. Bardock, on the other hand, ranges from being stronger and tougher to being a lot stronger and tougher. Again, assuming that's how we look at Omni-Man. With Bardock's power level eventually reaching that of 10,000, he should be approaching the level of King Vegeta, who was able to destroy multiple planets in a single attack easily, making Bardock already up to the large planet level range in his base form, maybe even higher. Bardock also has his Great Ape Uzaru form, which multiplies his base strength and durability by 4 or 10, depending on the source, but that also doesn't really seem like it's gonna matter much, because one of the researchers confirmed that they will be including material for Bardock that looks like it encompasses the Super Saiyan form. Not everyone will agree with that, but that's the way it looks like it'll be. That's a base multiplier of 50, which means Bardock's AP and durability is resting somewhere within the low to mid star range. And before anyone says anything, Death Battle doesn't allow one character to speed blitz the other character before they go into their strongest state, and Viltrumite healing factors, while impressive, can be overtaxed with enough trauma to vital organs, let alone vaporization like how key attacks are known for doing. But despite everything that I just said, this is still pretty challenging for me to call, because not only does each character have their own well-defined advantages over each other, but Death Battle may also just not interpret everything the same way that I do. I could see some differences, but I gotta go off of something, right? Now, in terms of actually trying to put this into more perspective, this kind of reminds me of the advantage layout that She-Ra versus Wonder Woman had, in that, like Bardock, She-Ra was analyzed to have greater power, durability, and versatility, and Wonder Woman had the edge in speed and experience, like Omni-Man. The difference, though, is that Wonder Woman had an undeniable method of killing She-Ra, that being the atom-splitting sword, and it made strength and durability a lot less relevant, especially with that massive speed gap. While Omni-Man is a lot faster than Bardock, he doesn't really have anything like that. He doesn't have a specific hacks or ability that would definitely overcome Bardock's durability, regardless of how their stats line up. Like, Omni-Man needs to be physically stronger, is what I'm saying. Now, if he did have a hacks or ability like that, or if he was strong enough to do significant damage to Bardock, then I would be comfortable just giving Omni-Man the win due to speed and stamina alone, because he could hit Bardock as many times as needed in order to kill him, and he could dodge pretty much everything. That would make this prediction a lot easier to do, honestly. However, trying my best to look at the bigger picture here, the only way that I could see Death Battle having a really solid argument for Omni-Man is if they give him that higher upscaling from the Viltrumite superstructure destroying technology statement or something along those lines. At that point, I would be inclined to believe that Omni-Man's strength would be close enough to Bardock's that he could do significant damage to him after enough time, and his far greater speed would allow him to capitalize on that and eventually win. However, to be perfectly honest, I'm thinking that that's probably not going to happen. I could be wrong, I could very well be wrong, and that's part of what makes this exciting, but I think that the most likely levels of power and durability that Omni-Man and Bardock will be placed at respectively, combined with Bardock's own abilities, his range, and the stuff that might help him counter Omni-Man's speed, like his more psychic-based abilities, I think all of that combined is going to allow Bardock to pull this off. Omni-Man's combination of speed and stamina is really, really good for him, and his experience definitely doesn't hurt either, but he's gonna have to be able to kill Bardock for sure in order to win. And I think Bardock's own combination of power and durability is going to allow him to last long enough to get in the one hit that he needs. So right now, I am hesitantly siding with Bardock. But no matter what happens, I am very excited that Death Battle is coming back. I'm very excited for this episode and for all the other episodes, both those that are revealed and unrevealed. I'm just so happy to be back. I want to hear what all of you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to win? Are you excited for this episode and all the other episodes that we know about? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, maybe even subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.